Hi everybody, I hope you've enjoyed the first two videos on writing and that you're beginning to apply what you're learning to your own writing and self-editing process. It's going to take some time to see some really substantial results, but you will get there because what you're learning will have a really positive effect in the long run. So keep up the great work and enthusiasm and keep writing consciously for all of your different subjects and keep us posted. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about what makes a great paragraph. First of all, let's answer the first basic question. What is a paragraph? So, a paragraph is a piece of writing that consists of several sentences. It should always have complete, correct, and concise sentences. As well, it should be easy to read and well organised. I would add something to that and say that it should be easy to read for the target reader. The paragraph itself should focus on one subject, theme, or central idea. So obviously, if you're going to change your theme, your subject, or your central idea, you need to start a different paragraph. Also, a lot of people ask the question, how long should a paragraph be? This is rather odd. It's kind of like asking, how long is a piece of string? A paragraph has a purpose. The purpose is to make a point and to prove it using arguments and evidence, and to make sure that it contributes to the larger argument or question of the writing. So, if your paragraph fulfills that purpose, it's as long as it needs to be. But you have to be very careful when you're planning and when you're writing to make sure that all of the information is necessary, relevant, and also helpful to the argument and to the reader. This is my feeling. It's that paragraphs answer a question of some kind. The question isn't necessarily stated, but it makes points which answer a question related to the theme of the writing that you're doing for any subject across the curriculum. So before you even start writing, you have to figure out what questions your paragraph is addressing and think about how well your paragraph answers them. Okay, so let's have a look at how the mechanics of a paragraph can work. This isn't the only model that exists, but it is a model, and the idea is to help you to start thinking about how you want to construct your paragraphs for each of the different subjects. Okay, so let's consider the humble poodle. Okay, so obviously Poodles rock. I've picked a subject that doesn't connect to any of your curriculum subjects, so you can see how the mechanics of a paragraph actually operate. Okay, so if you have a look at the paragraph below, it says, Poodles are the best possible pets, pets are important to people, poodles are important to people, and you should all buy a poodle. It's not a great paragraph, is it? It's not a compelling argument. It isn't clear what the question behind this paragraph is. There's no main point being made, there's no evidence or examples to support that main point, there's no real analysis, and there's no link to the questions being asked. What the writer does in this dodgy, bad paragraph, he's making general points that let you know his opinion. An opinion is not an argument. So once again, I'm going to say that one more time. An opinion is not an argument, and it doesn't make effective writing. So, how could this writer really construct a basic paragraph which makes a more convincing argument and makes a decent paragraph? Okay, this is one possible structure. You have a topic sentence which motivates the reader to want to read more. This is where you really state what your paragraph is going to address. You have a first main point which proves or backs up or explains the topic sentence. The second main point, it usually provides a reason for the first point made. The third main point can help prove the topic sentence or back up the first or second main point. And the conclusion sums up the main ideas or points, and it usually completes the topic. The most important thing to notice here is all of these points are linked to each other. It's not a string of different opinions making different points. They're all connected. So, just to recap, normally a paragraph starts out with a topic sentence or idea. This topic sentence is followed by the first, second, or third main points, and then details are added in between each point to explain the idea fully. Those details are really, really important, especially when we're thinking about writing in the different subjects, and we're going to go back to that in a bit after we have a think about this basic skeleton of a paragraph. Once one idea or concept has been described, the paragraph is brought to a conclusion, usually by summing up the main points or making a transition into the next paragraph. However, for a closer look, let's work through an example that shows us how to construct a paragraph by using the 5 elements listed above. Okay, we're going to go back to my idea about poodles. Here we go. So, here's your topic sentence. It tells the reader that poodles are in fact perfect pets. This may or may not be true, and so you would need to provide proof as to why this could be true. However, it's an interesting statement, and it's quite catchy because the reader wants to hear why the author thinks so or what justifies this statement. Then we move on to the first main point. This main point talks about the dog's personality and their companionship relating to the topic sentence, which helps prove that poodles are ideal pets. Although, most likely, a reader would still need more convincing. So we move on to a second main point. This is more convincing now. Most of the people that live in cities or small apartments are looking for a small dog that's suited to their city lifestyle, and this sentence proves that these dogs are ideal as pets. However, you still need more proof of this fact because not all of us live in the city. So we move on to the third main point. This point backs up the topic sentences that the poodle is the perfect pet because it mentions that this dog will fit into any type of family. This third point helps prove that the breed of dog is suited for most lifestyles and settings. So we've got our topic, we've got our main points, and so the final thing that we're missing is the conclusion. This conclusion sums up all the other points made in the paragraph and ties them all together nicely. After reading the paragraph and all of its elements as a unit, the reader should feel a sense of unity. Often, a well-written paragraph will feel complete and it will seem natural to stop reading when the paragraph closes. So keep in mind that for every great piece of writing, there are great paragraphs put together. Now, if we read all the sentences together, you can see how nicely the paragraph flows because it contains all the elements of a paragraph. It demonstrates the topic sentence, discusses one main idea, the poodle, and concludes without leaving any loose ends. So this paragraph clearly answers the questions, why are poodles the perfect pet? And this could be part of a much larger essay asking a larger question about dogs or animals or keeping pets at home. Okay. I did mention earlier on a little bit about the details, and this is so important to making sure that the writing fully meets the expectations of the reader. For example, if you're writing a history essay, it's going to be very, very important to provide evidence based on historical events. The reader needs to know that your opinion has come from knowledge and understanding of the facts, so you must give evidence in your writing. Similarly, your English teacher is going to need to know that you have knowledge and understanding of the text that you've read, so you're going to have to refer specifically to the text. So when I talk about the devil being in the details, what I really mean is that each of your subjects are going to ask you to do something slightly different when you're writing a paragraph. So you can still build a paragraph, but what you're going to need to do is speak to your teacher and find out how to include that evidence in your writing. For example, for an English essay, a paragraph, you're going to need to include a main point. You're going to need to include examples and evidence, and these are going to have to come from the text, aren't they? You're going to need to think about the effect that those examples has on the reader and on the text, and you're going to link it back to the question. So this is how you would build a paragraph for English. So I think the point I'm trying to make here is that it's so important that you speak to your different teachers and find out how they want you to construct your arguments. You can use this as a basic skeleton to ensure that your paragraphs are really, really coherent and cohesive, but you still have to talk to your teacher to find out really how they want you to provide examples and provide evidence in your paragraphing. Okay. Now that we've looked at how to actually construct a good paragraph that convinces the reader that your opinions have substance, are based on real understanding of the facts, whether they be from history or for a poem, I'm just going to extend this a little bit further. A paragraph is a building block that works to create a solid argument. So as such, even before you start writing, you have to make sure that you are sure about what paragraphs you're going to include, what points they're going to make, but also how they're going to fit together in the larger jigsaw puzzle. This means that you really have to plan, which is why I've put what's the plan, Stan, because before you even put your pencil to paper, you have to decide what point your paragraphs are going to be addressing. I know it's not the sexiest part of writing and people don't really enjoy the planning and it seems a bit pointless sometimes, but you have to do it. I think you can see from the example that I showed you about the poodle why it's so important. You have to make sure that your paragraphs serve a purpose, and so planning is really critical to making sure that that happens. Okay, so that's the end of our little introduction to structuring a paragraph. So on Monday, you're going to be working on some sample paragraphs and applying what you've looked at in this video. So, as always, I am sending you a huge big cheesy grin, and we'll see you on Monday. Ciao for now.